Good morning, students. Once again, I come to you with history. You remember, today we are doing lesson 4, the Chinese civilization. Among the 4 civilizations, the fourth one is the Chinese civilization. And so we will continue our discussions with occupation. The Chinese civilization, what was the occupation? Remember, Chinese civilization has developed between or at the bank of 2 rivers. What are the 2 rivers? What are the 2 rivers? Okay, please remember that those 2 rivers. So naturally, these 2 rivers made the land fertile, as we have the Gangetic Valley, as we have seen the Mesopotamian civilization. 2 rivers, between 2 rivers. What are the 2 rivers? Remember? So also Chinese civilization has developed between these 2 rivers. I'm not telling. So agriculture emerged. The one of the first. China is the one of the first countries to do the agricultural work. People grow rice, see, millet, wheat, barley, and soya bean. Among all that, rice and soya bean is important crop. That is, this was done in a vast place, big region, big area, practically throughout the country, and also soya bean. Today you are enjoying the soya bean bari. Remember, soya bean. They extract all the good things from the soya bean, and what is the output part? What is the leftover part? What is the remaining part? What is the which has to be thrown out? That they make into bari. Then we are enjoying that. Okay. Anyway, they put some flavor, so it is tasty. They worked with a spade like farm tools. We are having spade to dig the ground, so also they use this one. Farm tools made of stone or bones. The spade was most typical farm tool of that time. There are indications of rice cultivation on a large scale. I said no, large scale. As pile of rice, grain, husk, stalks, and leaves have been found. That has become now fossils, and so millions of years of dumping over there, and it has gone through a lot of heat and cold and the rain, and it has become a hard substance like stone. So they have been found. So mold boards were fixed to the rear of the plows for the purpose of turning over the crushing of the earth. That is when mold. What is that? Mold. That means a tool which throws out what is dug and the mud is thrown out. That is what plow. Plow is made such a way that once it is dug and then the mud is thrown out and dust turns over. The Chinese were familiar with the dike. Remember this word where we have come across? Dike. Yes. I think the dikes that they made was the first one. Who? Mesopotamian civilization. Dike. Remember, dike used to control water flooding. Water conservation facilities for farming also existed. Canals facilitated water transportation, and the water from canal was used for irrigation. So Chinese, they were using for irrigation. So this was the first occupation, agriculture. Second one is the tea cultivation. Tea cultivation. I'll tell you, before we discuss to this point, tea cultivation. Now, tea was there. The Chinese were the first one to use tea leaf. They were using tea leaf for the medicine. They, as a medicine they were using. This they were making using these drinks, making boiling the leaves and drinking. Today we are making kadha. See, now it is the corona period, so our PM is suggesting us to drink kadha. It's made up of so many things. You ask what is kadha to your mother. What is kadha? So they were making that kadha out of tea leaves, and they were drinking a glass full, and they were energetic. They were getting energetic. See why? Why, you know? This tea leaf has got a certain amount of nicotine. And nicotine is a drug. I'll tell you, nicotine is a drug. It has got the intoxicating element, nicotine. And that's why children are not supposed to drink, because it affects to the brain. It makes the brain dull, slow, sleepy. And so they were, when they were tired, when they were drinking a glass full of a tea, boiled tea water, Chinese people were feeling very well. And so they were using this. Slowly it became a habit. Now tea has become an important ingredient. It is a beverage. It's a beverage. Now everybody likes to have tea. So there are people who cannot remain without drinking tea, taking tea. Okay, they have to have a cup of tea early morning. Otherwise, other function will not work. Other parts of their body will not function, and so they need to have. So that is what nicotine makes a habit, and so this becomes they become the habituated to the tea. Some people, okay, especially the old people. So tea has been known to the Chinese for over 5,000 years. The first mention of tea dates back to the Zhou dynasty, Shu dynasty, that is 1046 BC to 256 BCE. During the Tang dynasty, that is 618 to 907 CE, tea cultivation reached a peak. Tea plants were grown extremely extensively. Extensively means there are two types of farming: extensive and extensive and intrinsic. Extensive and intensive, not extremely. Extensive and intensive. Intensive and extensive. Extensive means vast. Okay, with so many people and the places, area, the machineries, all that is used. Lu Yu, a writer who lived during the reign of the Shang dynasty here, T is silent, Shang dynasty, mentioned in his book Cha Jin, Cha, they will say Cha. Today also we say Cha, Cha Jin, about the plantation and processing of tea. Okay, let us go further. The sericulture, agriculture, now sericulture. What is this sericulture? There are three sericulture. No, four are there. Okay, there is agriculture, sericulture, horticulture. Okay, these are horticulture, sericulture, agriculture, and horticulture. So these are the part of the agriculture. They are all part of agriculture. It's a farming. Sericulture. Sericulture is nothing but then producing silk, raising up silkworm and producing silk. This process is known as sericulture. Varieties of silk products, including the thin, tough silk, figured woven silk, different types of gauze, brocade and embroidered silk have been discovered in the Yunnan provinces. Yunnan province. So different types of varieties of silk. This is what we are reading about. The name of different types of silk produced in Yunnan province. Province means area, region. Silkworms were reared on mulberry tree. Hope you have seen. Hope you have seen. Here I would like to show you I will show you just now. Silk worm, the embroideries and all that silk also were reared on mulberry tree. Silk was the chief item of export during the ancient and medieval age. Till the 5th century CE, Chinese had a monopoly on silk manufacture. Till 5th century, till Marco Polo came to China and found out, and then only he found out the silk route. Who? Marco Polo has founded the silk route, and the Europeans and other part of the country of the world, people were not knowing about the silk, about the tea and many other things. Very interesting story about Marco Polo. If you find a book on Marco Polo, please read how he comes to China, and then he finds all the production done in China, and then he propagates, goes to Europe, goes back to Europe, and then he propagates about the things, because he takes along with him a certain amount of all those things, and he tells them this is what, and the similar things they find in their own places later. And so that's what. Now I'd like to show you some silk. Just a minute. Yes, I have got the cocoon. See, this is the cocoon. It's not round shape. It has to be round, like a cocoon. Is an artificial cocoon which farmers they have found this in the farm. That means what they were rear. They rear the silk worm, and when the worm is fed with plenty of mulberry leaves, they sit in a place, and then they tie themselves. They tie themselves and make a cocoon. They remain inside. They don't make any openings. They tie themselves with the thread of their own. They take out this thing. Can you see? You cannot see the thing. You cannot see, I think. So these are the very thin thread they make. This is made by the silkworm, and then they tie. Once they tie, they remain inside, and when they become they are molded into different being. You remember, so they tie themselves and make a cocoon. It's known as cocoon. It's known as cocoon. Okay, and when they are ready to come out, they make opening, a small opening they will make, and then what they do, they will fly out as a butterfly. They fly out as a butterfly, and then again they will sit somewhere, lay egg. After that, those eggs will become the worm. Okay, worm. You will say pupa. You say, and then those pupas again they will eat up the leaves, and then again they will become the silkworm, and then again the cycle goes on. So here I have, this is produced by the farmers. They had from there I got one piece, and then I am showing this. This is colorful. In wild, in the forest, you'll get white one. It's white. It's not yellow. It's white. And here they produce, they feed, and then they put they rear, and then these silkworms are put on the frame, on that small railings will be there. Rails are there. Under that they will get stuck, and there they will make the cocoon. And I saw it is small. Otherwise it's quite big enough. So this is about the silkworm. This is the cocoon. See, this is a cocoon. Okay, so this about the silk sericulture. In India also we have got plenty of sericulture here in Murshidabad area and Malda, Murshidabad, Kaliaganj. All those areas are people they rear silkworm and they produce silk. Okay, silk. Art and craft. Next one is the art and craft. In the art, Chinese arts are liked by people all over the world. Even in India, when you go to, I'm going to give you some example. Please read the lesson. I'm going to give only the incident. I'm very much taken. All the people they like to have the Chinese things. Even the toys, Chinese toys are there. And today we have Corona, Chinese Corona. When you go to buy the cups, your parents they go to buy and they will look for the what is that? Born China. Born China they will look cup and they will just tick 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 the born China and that Chinese the cup is very nice, shining and the pictures or the flowers that they have made is beautiful. That is what parents people they like to buy. This is the porcelain, you see. Porcelain is a type of what a type of special mud they have and they make, we call it China clay. On China clay they make pots and vase and the utensils and the containers, all that they make and the nice drawing they make. That is what here the art and craft is mean today. They are very very famous. So the Chinese made pottery from porcelain. The result was declining, refined and exquisite, very fine, very nice. Okay, delicate. They are very delicate. Delicate means they are fragile, delicate. They break, but then they are very refined, fantastic, fine enough, and exquisite. A lot of items such as the vase, cups, jars, saucers, bowls, jewels, cases, and incense sticks, all were made up of porcelain, China clay. These vases had a glossy surface and were decorated with fine designs. I have told already. So, China clay cups are there. After that, there is a China bone China. Out of bone they make. Okay. The reasons why the Chinese made such a lovely porcelain is because they learned to control the temperature inside the furnace. The first among them were found to be made of a colin during the Shang dynasty. Pottery wares were more widely used among among the ordinary people, and porcelain was made mainly for the royal people. Royal means VIP people, those are rich people, kingly people. Royal means usually it is kingly. Kings and queens were using all these things. Okay. Next one was the jade. Jade is a stone. Stone. Objects carved out of jade, hard stone, have been historically regarded as the valuable in China, as jade is equated with purity and indestructibility. Indestructibly, that means it cannot be destroyed. Jade was widely used not only to make ornaments but also for rituals objects. All the puja things were made of jade. So, and for the protection of the dead, and of the tomb, dead people, they have the tomb. What is this tomb? Where people are buried. Tomb. The Shang dynasty, in the Shang dynasty, the crafts of jade carved made a notable advance. That means quite famous. Notable here means famous. Ceremonial weapons were carved from jade. Okay, so they were made from the hard stone, jade. So these are the things that makes Chinese people very famous. They are very exquisite, decorative, fine, beautiful. That's why. Okay. Anyway, we are suffering due to the Chinese now today. We are quarantined in our homes. So we'll discuss about Chinese people, about their architecture, their building and all that. Today it's enough for today. Okay. Stay safe.